Alright guys, Ben Kennedy here. I'm doing another SDI video. That's pretty much all I upload these days. This one's for FTT 217, which is the Modern Sporting Rifle Lab class. And so if you watched my other video that I uploaded today, that was for the checkering class. I emphasize the fact that you shouldn't plan holiday leave when you have classes, because now I'm like not scrambling, but turning in assignments a little late, so don't do that. This is actually for week 2, and then I'm gonna do week 3 immediately after this one, same day. If you watch that video, you'll notice I'm probably going to be wearing the same thing because I'm filming it today. But yeah, so today we're just gonna go over, do a little bit of inventory on the AR-10 that I have to go along with not planning holiday leave with classes. I came back from leave today and I went to my FFL to pick up my lower receiver, and they were closed because it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to be doing as much as I can with the build kit, and then I'm going to pull out one of my other ARs for the lower receiver portion of the assignment, so I can go over with you guys at least that part of the cycle of operations and whatnot. So I'm just going to get to it. Alright, so looks like everything's here, minus the stripped lower, obviously. I'm going to grab my brown AR for that, just so, there's kind of color-coded for a sense. I don't recommend keeping a cat in your workspace. Oh, I'm still wide angle, hold on. As you can see here, I have it all laid out. The small parts I kept in the bags because small parts, you don't lose them. This is like all your lower receiver stuff, so I'm just going to probably keep this in the bag until I get my lower, and then yeah, we'll just get to work. So we're doing some upgrades right off the rip. Let's see, let's start with the stock. There's nothing wrong with this stock, right? I mean, this is the kind I was trained on in the military. All of our M4s and M16s in basic training had this stock. It's a great stock. I play a lot of Tarkov, and I'm a gun enthusiast, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this bad boy on there. Another little mod right off the rip I want to do is the muzzle brake. The kit came with a A2 birdcage style flash hider. This is also a great one. This is like mil spec standard. It's not bad at all, but I'm going to go with this Dead Air Chemo muzzle brake. This is my favorite muzzle brake. It's a 30 cal. I have the same one on my 300 Blackout. This one's going to perform flawlessly. And also, I like to shoot suppressed a lot, and this muzzle brake is going to allow me to take my suppressor off my other guns and put them on the 308 as well. In addition, I have some other parts that have not come in yet. The charging handle will be getting replaced, and fire control group will also be getting replaced by a Geisley trigger. So I'm just going to dive into putting this thing together. I'll try to make it quick. Oh, almost forgot a part. The gas block. Thing's not going to work without this. All right, so here it is, or at least what I was able to get done today. So pretty much the whole upper, all done. There's the beauty, and then I threw my 30 cal suppressor on there for my 300 blackout. She's looking pretty. My method of putting a lower receiver together is I usually install the buffer tube first, and that's going to be fastened on with the castle nut with this I can't remember what it's called, but this goes on, castle nut goes on, you gotta stake it. This part absorbs a lot of the recoil, so you gotta make sure it's staked, it doesn't come loose. And that's gonna house your buffer spring and your buffer. Buffer spring's behind the buffer. You got your buffer retaining pin. You have your trigger assembly, and then you also have your selector switch, which is held in by a selector detent and detent spring, which is held in by the pistol grip. It kind of goes in like right here. It's kind of a tricky one. Lower receivers are kind of tricky altogether. I mean, if you had 3 hands, it would be easy, but it's tricky with 2. It's held in by the pistol grip, and then you thread in the pistol grip bolt while that spring's pressed in. You got your bolt catch here. That's just pivoting on a roll pin here. Then you have your mag catch here. That's an easy one. It actually, so this part right here is one piece, and it threads into the mag release button thing right there. Now your takedown pins, these are fun. Now your rear takedown pin, it works a lot like your safety selector detent. So you have a detent and then a spring under it, pushing that detent into the safety selector and causing it to catch like that. Same thing with this detent spring, except the spring goes in the backside, which is why this plate is here. With that being said, let's move on to these random parts. The first one was kind of funny because it is the door hinge. The dust cover door hinge to be exact. And the reason why it's funny is because if you saw in the little sped up assembly video of this AR-10 or LR-308 to be exact, I had trouble with the door hinge because this one was too long. I had to file it down and re-blue it. Now this does not serve any purpose in the cycle of operations. All it does is just provides a means for your dust cover or your door, whatever you want to call it, to be attached to your upper receiver. There's not much to say about that. Then you have your buffer tube. Now that one does play a role in the cycle of operations. I wouldn't say. Next is your buffer tube. Your buffer tube indirectly plays a role in the cycle of operations. The reason I say indirectly is because it's not the buffer tube that's pushing your bolt forward, it's the buffer spring. Now this guy plays a direct role, but your buffer tube does not. Your buffer tube just houses this part. Next thing you have is your selector detent. Your selector spring, or selector detent spring, is right inside there. Now that does not play a role in the cycle of operations. You do have to have it there so you can take your firearm from safe to fire, thus enabling the ability to initiate the cycle of operations. Then you have your lower receiver. That was the 5th one. Does not play a role in the cycle of operations, but it houses a lot of the stuff that does perform a direct and indirect role. And then you have your bolt. Very, very, very direct role in the cycle of operations. Now, your bolt's going to play a few roles, but you have feeding, right? So your feeding, I showed you, it's going to pick up the round right by the head of the casing with the lugs. It's going to feed it in. So you got feeding, and you have chambering, and you have locking. You have extraction and ejecting all on the bolt. Yeah, that's all I got for this assignment. I'm going to start filming my next video for another one of my late assignments. So actually, no, that one's not late. If I turn it in tonight, it'll be on time. So yeah. Yeah. Words of wisdom, don't take holiday leave while you're in school. Stay strapped, stay safe, not only on the streets, but at your workbench too. Gunsmithing can be dangerous if you're not taking the necessary precautions. So peace.